see. Okay. My God, child.
Has it been a day?
Well,
Or not a whole day, maybe just the last 15, 20 minutes.
just the last 15, 20 minutes have been a huge bitch. Oh my gosh. And what's so sad about it, y'all, is that it was operator error. We were having trouble, or I was having trouble getting sound.
I was going to let you make it, but you decided to put it out.
Hey, I'm just going to admit my flaws.
I am proud of you for owning up to it.
Me being human, maybe that'll, endear me to a gentleman caller.
Oh, okay.
Who, I mean, don't get used to. I don't really do a lot of that in relationships. No, I'm just kidding. I do. I admit my flaws. How was your day today?
It's been great. Enjoyed my day off. I found this wonderful sushi spot yesterday, and it was so good that I had to go back again today.
I know the feeling.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. It was all you can eat, too.
All you can eat sushi.
I never knew they could do all you can eat sushi, but apparently it's a thing. And, as long as you don't over order and waste it, because that's when they charge you.
Now, this is a place in Houston.
Yes.
Do you want to give them a shout out? Do you want to let people know where to go to get this?
Edo Japan on Fuquay on the south side of Houston.
Shout out to Edo Japan.
Yes, indeed. I am a believer. I will be a regular now, and their drinks are good too.
It's so funny that you had sushi yesterday, because I too went to the sushi restaurant yesterday, but I did not get sushi because when I went in there, because I had my mind set. I want some sushi to go. I was going to go home and yada yada. He was like, it's a 40-minute wait for the sushi.
Oh goodness.
And I was like, no thanks.
Like, I'm hungry now.
Yeah. So I drove myself to the Chinese restaurant and got me some lo mein and some pot
Chinese
stickers.
food, though. I do love Chinese.
Yeah.
I guess what it is, with it Friday being Good Friday and then Sunday being Easter Sunday, I guess a part of my religious upbringing is like when we get closer to Easter, it's like try not to eat meat, try to eat seafood and stuff like that.
What is that all about? Because,
So sushi was just perfect.
What is the not eat meat around Easter thing? What is that about?
So in my upbringing, in my family, and possibly my culture, it's, I guess I had heard that it was like by eating meat, it's like you're eating the flesh of Christ. And I figure that's something they tell children.
Right.
But I'm sure there's more to it than that. I think there's just something about, Is
that a Catholic thing? Because I'm making some assumptions here because, being Mexican, did you grow up Catholic?
Well, I did have Catholic exposure. I won't say I had a Catholic upbringing because, my grandparents would take me to a Catholic church. My aunt and uncle would take me to a Catholic church, but my mom was more Pentecostal.
Oh, okay.
And now as an adult, I still attend church, but I tend to go to like interdenominational ones.
Okay. Now, what's the style of the interdenominational church? Are they shouting? Are they? By the way, y'all, today we are actually going to be talking about religion, but Soulful did such a smooth ass transition into the topic. I get to give y'all the header. That's the header. We're talking about religion and gay shit today.
I was just thinking about sushi. It was just a happy accident.
Just a happy accident.
Just like finding that sushi place was a happy accident.
See?
I'm still talking about food. I said we weren't going to talk about food on this podcast.
You cannot get away from food when you're talking. When you got foodies hosting the podcast.
I am a foodie. I'm not denying. I was just in Chicago last week, too. If you are a foodie, Chicago is
right
one of the best cities to be a foodie.
Yeah.
Whether you're bougie or whether you're hood, they got you covered.
They do. They have you covered from the what do you call it, like with the chains to the unique spots that are unique to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, hell, they have a whole festival in the summertime, not restaurant week, I forget what Taste of Chicago, where all the places come to you.
But I'm gonna say that I don't think Chicago's food scene, and of course my experience in Chicago is limited. I've only been to Chicago twice, but their food scene is not as good as Houston's food scene. I'm gonna say
So I'm gonna agree with you only for the fact that when I first moved back to Houston back in 2002, 10 years in a row we were voted the fattest city in the country. Uh, it was just between us and Detroit. But yeah, Houston was consistently being voted the fattest city. I don't entirely know what the criteria was. I think it had to do with the concentration of restaurants versus parks and areas that provide physical activity.
Oh, okay.
But we love food in Houston, and I'm sure it didn't get better after 2005 or 2006, after Hurricane Katrina, when we had the big migration from Louisiana to Houston.
You said all the fat Louisianans came.
They brought all that flavor and all that seasoning, and
okay.
I hate that happened, but I'm for the ones that made a home in Houston. Thank you for bringing some good gumbo, some good shrimp etouffee.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm allergic to shrimp. So don't y'all be sending none of that in the mail to us.
All right. We'll do chicken and sausage gumbo for you.
Well, there you go. That sounds good.
We got you covered.
Exactly. So growing up in religion, I'm always interested in this conversation about, we're two gay men, and I think probably on some level we've had, even though you had the Catholic exposure, I think we probably have very similar upbringings as far as religion goes, even though you're Mexican and I'm black. What was church life like for you growing up? Like, what did y'all do? How was that scene growing up?
So on the Catholic side, I mean, it was just like a lot of churches. You have Sunday school, you send the kids in a class and all that. I still remember my very first Sunday school lesson to this day.
Oh, really?
We talked about heaven, what heaven was going to look like, how everybody would have a mansion, how the streets were made of gold and all that. Still remember to this day. And it was funny because maybe about 5 years ago, I had this tremendous revelation. And it went right back to that class. But
so your family, was it just like, okay, on some Sundays we go to Catholic service to appease dad, some Sundays we go to Pentecostal to appease mom? Like, was there a consistent, was anyone more than the other one?
No, my dad wasn't really the church-going type. My mom was the pious one, and she wanted to go to churches that she felt had a strong anointing.
Did you just say she was the pious one? And he just said it's so easy, so like people walk around saying pious. But go ahead,
I'm that person. I walk around and say pious.
But go ahead. I'm not gonna let you slide on that. I'll just like keep going. So
if we were going to church with my aunt or uncle, then we'd go to a Catholic church, and very structured, very on time. Everybody reads from a book, does their prayers, and alternating between what the parishioners are speaking. Same thing with my grandparents. Also went to Catholic church, but I think for them it was kind of like, let the kids do their thing while we're over here.
So it was so was it a very eclectic church experience then, in terms of like, you didn't have like a set, this is our member church that we go to every weekend?
No.
Whatever.
No.
Okay.
I did not. We were not. Probably not till high school did my mom commit to a home church that we would all go to.
Oh, okay. See, I guess I'm asking because my experience was different in the sense that we had a home church, and we went to church. I grew up in holiness, non-denominational.
Really?
Speaking in tongues, healing.
You get a little shouting every now and then.
Shouting, running around the church.
Somebody says, "Won't he do it?" And you just get a little two-step in.
All that there. All that.
I actually do play piano for a predominantly black church. So, and I've been doing it for a while. It just kind of happened that way. I used to live in New York. I played for a West Indian church, and then I moved back to Houston and started playing for a church that was predominantly black. And so I've had the wonderful opportunity to be exposed to that and, grow on that and just really, share and experience that part of, black culture and the church culture. So, yeah. But yes, so it's interesting to find out this about you, that you have this strong upbringing, especially in holiness.
Oh, yeah, man. We would go to church. Of course, we had Wednesday night Bible study. We had Saturday church. We had Sunday church. That was on the regular. And then of course I'm forgetting about choir rehearsal. You got to throw in a choir rehearsal in there, so you got to go to church for that. Because at one point we were a part of a church that I dare say that might have been very a little cultish.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone lived on the same property.
Oh.
For the most part, there were people who didn't, but I guess at one point when this woman started the church with her husband, one of the people who had gotten saved, he owned a lot of land, and he donated the land to the church.
Oh, wow.
So
if I'm looking at you crazy, it's because I'm like, is that the direction I'm going?
oh, that's right. Because Soulful is looking at property.
I'm looking for some land myself.
Oh, Soulful, don't do it. Oh
No,
my gosh,
no,
don't
no.
do it. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
No. Don't drink the horchata.
No. Yes, and it was crazy. It was. I mean, I don't know about you, but I was wholly in it. Like I was in it. I remember going to school and kids like poking fun, like, y'all go to that crazy church, y'all, the women got to wear dresses all the time, and I would be like, don't you talk about my pastor, and I'd be fighting.
All right,
mad.
you better put your foot down.
That was just, it was crazy.
No, that's great. I was one of the kids that I'm coming from a place of honesty now, but I was one of those kids that kind of hid the fact that I went to church just because I wasn't the most popular kid to begin with through junior high and high school. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of there. And then having to add church to it just kind of gave people another layer for them to tease me and stuff like that. Not that it was any better because I got teased in church too.
oh, Soulful. No. Well, we have the tease bond, because I definitely got teased in school because I was, so effeminate, and actually, we first moved to this church that I was telling you about on this property. One of our neighbors, of course, was someone who went to the church, and they had like, oh my God, this family had like, I'm not kidding you, like 6 kids, I think, and they were like stair-stepped almost.
Oh, wow.
But the eldest brother, was like a year older than me. But when you're like 13 or 12, a year can make a big difference in terms of size and stuff like that. And I remember that brother was picking on my brother, and I went up to him and I was like, "You gotta leave my brother alone." I wasn't no fighter, but still, it was my younger brother. I had to stand up. And that boy was like, "Well, what you gonna do about it?" And I was like, "You just gotta leave my brother alone." And then he spat at me.
Oh.
But he didn't hit me, right? So I'm like, it didn't get on me. It didn't get on me. And then he like came closer and spat again. And I was like, still didn't. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Still didn't get it on me. I'm just standing there.
Probably for the best, because getting spit on is a trigger for a lot of people.
Well, he did eventually spit on me.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
All right, continue.
I don't know what I was doing. I was just standing there going, you didn't get it on me. And then he spat in my face. And I could not believe he actually did it. And I ran into the house crying and telling my mom, "Oh my God, he spit on me."
Really? Fight or flight?
I was not a fighter. I mean, I was a skinny little queer kid. Not that I knew I was queer at the time. I probably did. But
I didn't know. Everybody else knew before I did.
I think I knew I liked boys. I didn't know what to call it, but I knew I liked boys. And my mom was mad at me. She was like, "He spit in your face?" And I was trying to be like, "I'm going to go out there and defend you." She was like, you ran in here crying? You better get out there. And I was just like,
Was she going to be like your mama in Power, where she was going to have you go back with a sock with some size D batteries? And
that would have been nice, actually, if she would have armed me. But instead, she just told me to get my ass back outside. And she didn't say ass, but she just get back outside and, and stand up for yourself. Yeah, she said she was very churchy.
Get your patootie outside.
Well, I'm just like, which I didn't think that was the right choice. But anyway.
That was crazy. I would say about 95% of our viewers, if they were to get spit on by somebody, I'm sure they would black out, and next thing you know, it'd be a crime scene, and the police would be asking them what happened. Why is there tape on the floor?
I don't know. I don't even now. I don't know. I probably wouldn't. How has your experience with church and everything? How do you feel like it has molded you as a young man today?
Oh, so I guess, it's obviously you can't talk about, growing up in church and a Christian religion while dealing with the fact that you're gay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in church all my life. I've been in church long before I knew what gay or straight was, before even sex was.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess because I was effeminate or more androgynous than anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was I was younger than most of the people in my class. I was a late bloomer, so while the other guys were developing characteristics that were, that of a man,
Yeah.
I, was younger. I just was built funny. I had a high voice. My mannerisms were all over the place. So, I mean, it was just grounds to be teased in. And, in the 70s and 80s where nobody really talked about bullying, you were just, you deal with it.
Yeah.
You were kind of on your own.
Yeah.
So obviously, having church there to pray for help and deal with that bullying, that was an outlet. But the church itself, the particular churches I would go to, saw the same thing that the bullies did, and try to pray it out of me. I'm like, what are they trying to pray out of me? What is there to pray out? And it was like, it's like you're kind of exhibiting gay traits. And I was like, what is that?
What is that?
What is that?
Wow.
It's like I didn't even know two men could, two men or two women could like each other. I didn't even know how, it was so young. I didn't even know how sex worked. I didn't know how sex with a man and woman worked, let alone with two men. So, it was a very difficult time. It was a very difficult time trying to reconcile that my entire existence was an abomination when I didn't have the slightest, faintest idea what any of it was. I think as I got older, moved to.
Well, before you move on, I want to comment on the childhood stuff in the church, because while you
tread lightly, I'm being very vulnerable here. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, I'm about to join you.
Okay.
Because while you were going through that and you didn't know why they were praying for you, about how old were you? Would you say at that time?
11, 12.
See, around 11, 12, 13, I knew I liked boys. But I also knew that to lie with them as man as with woman was a sin, and you was going to burn in hell. And so I spent, I don't know, time is relative now, or time kind of changes when you think back in the past. That young, at least for me, it feels like I spent a year or 2 years at every altar call, snotting, crying, praying. I would outlast adults. Like, I would be the last one to leave the altar call, and everyone would be thinking, "Oh, he's letting the Lord use him," and "Oh, look at him, he's really a prayer warrior."
Just
blah,
waiting
blah,
for
blah.
that breakthrough that you thought.
And that's why I was praying for the breakthrough. Lord, take it away. Take it away, Jesus. Please take it away. I don't want to go to hell. Please take it away. And I remember, this is after months or years, or however, I can't remember, but just a long time of praying and snot and everything about it. I was at this woman called Big Mama's house while my mom and my sister went to church. Me and my brother was at Big Mama's house. He was a church woman member's house. And that night we were having Bible study, because we always had also, if you wasn't at church, there was a night where you were supposed to have Bible study at
during
home.
the week at home. Yeah.
So we were having Bible study at the house, and the message was God can do anything. And I just started crying because I was just like, because I was like, but he ain't done this yet.
Right.
And I need him to do this. And so Big Mama was like, "What's the matter, baby? What's the matter?" And I'm like, nothing. No, what's the matter? And I was like, "Oh, I can't talk about it." And she she used me, and she took me to the kitchen where the biscuits were.
Oh.
She knew my weakness.
The biscuits with the sugar water.
With the sugar water. That's right. That's right. And I remember I was sitting at the counter, and she fed me a biscuit, and so she got me weak. And she was like, "Well, you ain't got to say it. Just write it down on this piece of paper," which is smart, I guess. And I wrote down,
Is this the beginning of where food became our coping mechanism?
Probably. How dare you analyze me?
I'm relating to you because I'm in the same boat.
And so
I'm sad. Ooh, let me here's a biscuit.
it-
Ooh, I'm happy.
I'm
Ooh,
happy.
here's a chocolate.
Exactly,
I'm
right?
bored. Ooh, ice cream.
Okay. Oh my gosh, don't start. And so I wrote it on a piece of paper, I think I'm gay. And she was like, and she had an old house, one of those old houses with the stoves, wood stoves that you like kind of like you put the wood through the top of it or whatever.
Yes.
And so she took
The color purple stove.
the color purple stoves, totally. She took the little thing off. She took the paper. She said, "You see this right here? In the name of Jesus, it's gone." And she threw it in the fire. And I was in my mind, I was like, "Girl, if that's all it took, I wouldn't be still feeling this way." Because I knew that my hours of prayer was more impactful than somebody throwing a piece of burned up paper in the fire. Like I had enough
Right.
sense to know
Maybe
that.
you had to be at the Kojic convention like Andrew Chad Caldwell to get the same breakthrough.
Oh, child. Oh, we're gonna talk about that.
But no, yeah, I think for me, and just because I don't want to dive too deep on the difficult part, but I think for me, my breakthrough came through. I was living in New York. I found the West Indian church to play for up there, and I guess I just never really wanted to admit this. I mean, believe it or not, I was still a virgin at 21 when I was playing at that church. I felt an attraction for men at the time, but I couldn't really reconcile it because I had previously had attraction to women too. But it wasn't until I had my first experience with my first would-be boyfriend, and just an FYI, I'm a gold star. Gold star meaning I've never been with a woman, but I have dated them. I had pursued them. I had desired them, but I realized that my desire for a woman was very different from what ended up being my first boyfriend.
That's what I'm about to say. What was that desire really about? What was that?
The desire that I had for the girls that I chased after in high school, it was because they fit a certain paradigm I thought I wanted. It was the paradigm of what it was in my particular community that I grew up in.
What your life was supposed to look like.
Yeah. I grew up in a little town in deep South Texas, real close to the Mexican border. The community was like 98% Hispanic. And it was very common there for guys to be married at the age of 18, have a woman that fit that certain paradigm that helped me to be a great mother to your kids and all that. So in my mind, I figured I was supposed to be married by 18, have one or two kids by the age of 21, and it's like, which now, thinking about it now, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But so any girl that I pursued was a girl that would fit that paradigm. So when I met what would be my first boyfriend, it was just completely nothing like I would have expected because it was outside of the paradigm. There's this poem that I remember hearing when I was in high school, and it was a Spanish poem translated into English, and I always remember the first two lines from it because
say them in Spanish first.
Te amo porque en los miles de años de sueños que ha tenido nunca ha soñado de ti.
Something about the year and some dreams.
Well, it's dreams actually, but it opens with "I love you because the 1,001 nights that I have dreamed, I never once dreamed of you." At first, it didn't make sense to me. It's like but when I finally experienced it, I'm like, wow, okay. I've always had this vision of what I thought my life was supposed to be like, and here comes something that I never once imagined, and it's just more magnificent and more spectacular than anything I could have fathomed. So, yeah, and that's when I realized, like, all this time I've been chasing a paradigm, trying to fit a certain life that everybody else was going for, but one that wasn't meant for me. And I had my epiphany one day. I was living in New York. I was walking home from work. I don't know how to explain it, but it was like I was walking, I was home, I was just dwelling on the fact, like, what is going on with me? I'm playing for this church. I have these feelings. I'm being told it's wrong. And I just had the brightest light shine down from the sky, from the sun piercing through the clouds and just shine on me. It was dark everywhere else, but it was just shining on me the whole time while I was walking home, to the home that I was living at the time. And it just did not leave me. I walked for about an hour and it did not leave me. And I was like, I just felt this tremendous moment of peace at the time. Like, I'm on the right track. I am not an abomination. There is nothing wrong with me. God has made me in his image the way he intended. And from that day forward, nothing anybody told me about myself ever made me feel like I was inadequate or wrong ever again.
That's great.
As far as that area is concerned.
That came to you like that. I think I had my epiphany. I feel like I had it was in stages, but the epiphany of like, I'm no longer crying about this anymore happened probably around...
You cried your last tear yesterday?
Yes. It was like around 16, where I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of being miserable. And if you want me not to be like this, take it. Because I didn't ask for it. So take it. If it ain't supposed to be here,
I did the same thing.
Take it away.
Like, I can't. I don't know what I'm supposed to get rid of.
Yeah.
So if I can't get rid of it, you take it. From me. You never did.
Yeah, exactly. And I still. And I remember I came out to my mom ish after that Big Mama situation, because my brother told my mom I was crying at Big Mama's house, and when she picked us up, and my mother, of course, being a good mother, was like, "Well, why were you crying?" And I was like, "I don't want to talk about it." And she was like, "Well, we're not getting out of this car until you tell me why you was crying."
Oh, she wasn't playing.
And so I was like, "Well, I think I'm gay." And she paused, and then she said something to the effect of, "You're too young to know something like that about yourself. That we all are curious about, each other. Girl, boys, girl, boy, whatever." And she said, "You're too young so don't even worry about it. You're too young to call yourself anything." And she didn't put any kind of like judgment on it or anything. So I really will give her props for that. But so eventually but of course I still stayed in the closet even at 16 and da-da-da. I probably didn't come out of the closet till I was 18, in college, a freshman in college. Because even
college is the big icebreaker.
It's the big icebreaker, baby. Because when you're from a small town, you think you're the only one, right? You especially if you don't have any examples. And I didn't really have any examples. Of course, there was this older gentleman, but that's a story for another day.
And sometimes, unfortunately, sometimes in the smaller towns, the examples aren't the greatest ones.
Yeah, true. Very, very true.
Sometimes in large cities too, but the community is a lot smaller in the small towns.
But I wonder how I managed to not let religion. I mean, I think I know, but it's a wonder how I did not let religion give me so much angst to keep me in the closet, like through my adult years or what have you. Because I think something that my mom did instill in us was think for yourself, which is funny because I think she didn't expect that to translate to church. Me, myself, I do not go to church. Although I still believe in a power that's bigger than me. I need to, because the world is so rough and tough and stuff. I need to believe that something greater than these boogeymen out here in the street, is I don't know, is that there's a greater force than myself out here, and that I'm not alone in that way. But I don't necessarily though subscribe to Jesus as the Son of God and those kind of things, 'cause in terms of like you gotta believe in the way that he's the way to get to heaven. If you don't believe it, he did like I don't subscribe to those things, which I usually don't say that out loud, because I know when you say that out loud, there are people think, oh shit, you're going to hell because you have to blah 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 blah. There's a formula to but I'm just being honest.
No, I totally get it. I do believe the majority of the doctrine that we get taught in church and in Christianity. I firmly believe that a lot of it has been corrupted over the centuries.
Sure.
Especially with translations. And this will bring me full circle to what I was talking about with my revelation with Sunday school and heaven and all that. You know, for heaven, you know, if you're a stage 4 brain cancer patient that's just thinking about dying already so you can stop suffering, or, you know, some kind of relief from the pain that you're going through, are you really going to care that heaven is made with streets of gold?
No.
It's like, no. Who is going to care about going to a place in the afterlife where it is so full of opulence and abundance that the streets are made of gold? Broke people.
Yeah.
So who, you know, at what point in time, and I'm not, you know, I'm saying all this just, you know, for conversation, because, you know, I definitely don't want to steer people away from Christianity, but at the same time, I think people have the right to ask questions and think for themselves. And a lot of ministries don't give you that opportunity, but that's how you grow. But going back to what I was saying, yeah, you know, you think about the times of kingship, King James, you know, the kingships, the serfs, the peons and all that are never going to amount to anything beyond being servitude. And, you know, how do you make them remain in that place? By promising them an afterlife. That's
how they kept the slaves in check.
Yeah. So,
one of the ways.
Yeah. So, you know, prosperity gospel, but, you know, prosperity in the afterlife. You're not going to get it here, but if you follow what we say and believe in this, it'll be waiting for you when you die.
Classic line from The Color Purple when Celie was talking to, what was Oprah Winfrey's character's name?
Miss Sophia.
Miss Sophia, about fighting her husband. What she say? Something.
This life be over soon. Heaven lasts always.
And she's like, you better bust Mister's head open and think about heaven later.
That's it.
Oh, yes. Classic. Oh, yeah, I can't wait. You know what? Slight sidebar that we go back to the topic. You know they're making that Color Purple movie, right? The musical movie. Have you heard about that?
I had not.
Oh, my goodness. Soulful. They are making a Color Purple musical.
I'm intrigued.
Movie.
I'm intrigued.
Based off, of course, the musical, that's stage musical.
Yes. I'm intrigued.
Tons of stars.
I mean, the original is a timeless classic.
It's timeless classic, but what makes it easier because it's a musical. That makes it a little bit easier to digest. We'll save another episode to talk about that when we get to that. But anyway, no, I appreciate what you're saying, especially the part about people kind of finding their own way with Christianity. What I have come to feel is that all religions are somehow cousins on some level.
In some variation. I have thought that too.
You know, and because it's just like even with how Christianity has so many branches.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
So many denominations.
Yeah. And so, it is what it is. But ultimately,
what I look for, regardless of what religion you are, is integrity. You know, if you serve a God, whatever God you serve in whatever denomination you serve him, and you're doing horrific things, you know, whether you're burning somebody on the street or whether you're giving somebody the finger and pointing a gun at them because they cut you off and you can't control your road rage, but you claim to serve this loving God. Yeah, I'm going to question you, you know, or, you know, if you are in a position of leadership in a religion and then you get found to be in some kind of a scandal. Lord knows I've seen plenty of scandals around the ministries that I've been around.
Well, let's talk about scandals, and also let's talk about Andrew Caldwell, the I'm Not Gay No More guy. But let's do that after this break from our sponsors.
Yay.
We'll be right back.
Hola muchachos, I'm Esteban with Lala Lopez Family Motors, and my family has been in the business of selling new and used cars for over 3 weeks. Bad credit? We got you. My cousin Tito can assist you with making the proper adjustments so that your credit can get you any car you want, ese. Can we get you into a Pinto, Cadillac, maybe a Beamer? Claro. With our no-hassle 3K minimum deposit, any car on the lot is yours for the taking, hermano. Don't have 3K? No problem. We have no interest loans that only require that you sign a promissory note. You know, a note that promises you'll do whatever we ask, when we ask, until you pay off the loan kind of deal. So don't be discouraged, chica. Come and get your life and your new ride at Lala Lopez Motors.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. We are back. That was a great commercial.
Yes, our producers are working really hard to get us some great sponsors. It's very impressive.
They are, and the talent. We always compliment the talent, but it's important to compliment the talent.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the talent in these commercials are A1. Above.
I'm expecting to see some IMDb profiles for these actors.
Me too, right? Yeah, you know what? I think there
They're
should
on
be
their way.
There should be like podcast commercial awards. Best commercial in a podcast. And these people
That
should
would be
submit.
funny to see.
That would be hilarious, right? I think so. So we promised y'all we would talk a little bit about Andrew Caldwell. If y'all remember, some years ago, Andrew Caldwell, am I saying his name right?
Andrew Chad Caldwell. No, Andrew Caldwell's his name, but the full name that he's...
Is it Calda or Calla?
Caldwell.
Caldwell, okay.
Caldwell.
He went up to church, up to the pulpit or whatever.
Not just any church. This was the Kojic Convention.
Oh, it was a convention.
The convention.
Convention.
Church of God in Christ. They have one of the biggest national conventions every year in St. Louis.
Oh.
It's days and days of conventions.
Oh, tell me.
Nice shiny suits.
Yeah.
Beautiful dresses, big hats. I mean,
of course.
Yes, it is.
Lots of queens.
The creme de la creme.
Which
I have a funny story about that because I went to a bear event a few years back in
during
St.
a
Louis.
Kojic convention?
Not just during the court convention. They were in the same host hotel.
Oh, bitch. What?
The convention was in the same
it doesn't
hotel
get
as
no
Hibernation.
better than that.
Tried to get in the elevator with a couple that just came from service with two white bears wearing jock straps.
Ooh, what?
I know they had to complain to the management.
Oh my God, that is the best. That needs to be in somebody's movie. That needs to be in a movie somewhere.
I did not make that up. I was there. I just
Oh my gosh. So that was a big convention that Caldwell essentially declared, I ain't gay no more. I like women's. And
a little bit of tongue speaking afterwards.
Yes. Ahandobala shandalala. Something of that nature.
Made me say mama makusa.
Yes, of course. Always a little bit of that. So my question to you, and of course we're not really trying to talk about Andrew's journey per se, but I was watching on TikTok, there's this black, Jewish, Hasidic possibly, or Hasidic adjacent man who is gay, but he at one point in time he was married, and like to a woman, and he was in the closet, and he was talking about Andrew Caldwell. This is why Caldwell comes to my mind. And he was saying how, this guy is probably living in so much, denial, and just basically like his inner life is probably full of pain and full of just turmoil, and he probably doesn't have real peace, what have you. Here's my thing: can you be gay no more? And my thing about it is this: if we recognize or acknowledge that sexuality is on a spectrum, right?
I believe it is.
I forget who the scientist or the doctor that determined that. If it's on a spectrum, right? So you could be 50-50 possibly, you could be 60-40, you could be 80-20, you could be 90-10. I guess that leaves room for 100. I guess it does, but who's 100% of anything nowadays? Right. So I can see how someone may say, I would give in to my 10% curiosities. I used to give into that, or if you want to call it giving into it. And now I've opted to no longer do that anymore. I I understand that, and I see how that could happen. Just because I think I could choose to no longer have sex with men, never again.
Or as we like to call it, the Donnie McClurkin.
Yeah, but that don't make me not gay no more.
Right.
I'm just choosing not to have sex with men.
Celibate.
Yeah, I'm just being celibate. And so I don't know. That's why I'm like, can you really stop being who you really are if you ever really was that? Because I do believe some people are identify as one thing, maybe due to some trauma, due to their culture, due to how you're growing up, you're identifying as something, and then when you get a chance to really be yourself, you go, oh, I'm not that, I'm really this, or or whatever.
So I think it's a very complicated issue, and much like you said, I think it's a spectrum. Earlier, I mentioned how I was attracted to women for many years, and then I had my first experience with a man, and it went from there. And it wasn't because I got turned out, maybe. But no, it just, I realized the difference. I realized me being attracted to a fairy tale that somebody else had dreamed up for me versus me being attracted to the person that I was with. I read an article, a while back about that, about a man who was like really, really gay, very, very sex positive, just really, really out there enjoying all the sex he could have. And then one day he just stopped and he said, he's like, found himself a woman and he settled down. And, the logic was that he came to terms that he realized that he wasn't gay at all. He was out here doing all these with all these men because it would just felt good. But when he met this woman, it wasn't just about feeling good. It was about really finding what meant for him. And it made me think because I felt like the opposite of my situation.
Ah, yes. It
felt like the opposite of my situation. So, yeah, I think it's very complex. But at the end of the day, if it's being labeled, oh, you're gay because you're attracted to the same gender, then yeah, it's black and white. But humanity's not black and white. We're very complicated. And then that's just adding cisgender sexes like male and female. Then you introduce the non-binary and the transgender. I think a lot of people for years have tried to do that. Like, you're a man who's attracted to a transgender female. What does that make you gay? It's very complex.
Well, and you know what? I appreciate you saying that because I think we're getting to the point either where we may just start losing labels altogether.
I think we're trying to. We try to, and then we add them back.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, because people do we like to put labels on stuff to know it's like putting a label on our relationships, right? Are we friends? Are we lovers? Are we husband? Are we wife? Are we whatever? We like to do that. But to echo something you said earlier about the woman situation, see, you are gold star gay. I am not gold star gay.
Oh, it's about to get juicy.
I had a girlfriend in high school, but I only had a girlfriend in high school. She was actually a really good friend of mine. We were good friends, and I don't know if she ever might listen to this podcast, so I'll just say this is my perception of what happened. Okay. I was dating a man at the time who I shouldn't have been dating because he was significantly older than me. But that's on him, not on me, because I was a child. And
15 will get you 20.
Yeah, okay. So I was like 16, 17. And then I caught him with a woman, like, cheating on me. And I was like, oh, so that's what we're doing? Okay, well, I can get a girlfriend, too.
Oh.
And so...
I wish y'all could see this neck motion he puts in when he gets feisty.
And so... yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that.
Well, we were talking about Andrew and...
yeah.
Being gay and then not being gay.
Oh, well,
being attracted to... Well, you're not a gold star. You had a girlfriend.
Yeah. And I had her. So it wasn't just like...
Was it good?
When I go back to what you were saying about old boy, the guy who ended up with a woman, let's face it, putting your penis inside a
Orifice
feels good. And I don't want to, once again, I don't want to I'm not saying this woman was just the orifice or whatever, but I'm just saying you cannot identify necessarily your sexuality based on just because you got aroused with someone. You know what I mean?
We're men. We get aroused when the wind blows a certain way.
But also, it goes back to what you were saying and what the man was saying about, like, I knew I loved her and she and I could be best friends. This is where I was going with this. Now, okay, I got myself back. This is where I knew we could be best friends, but I knew I could never love her in that kind of romantic, Sleepless in Seattle kind of way.
You weren't gonna desire her like that?
No, like I could desire, I love breasts. I think breasts are beautiful on women. That's probably why I have like a thing for men with big pecs. Like I like those, whatever. But I can admire all these things on the woman's body, and even think, oh, that would be nice to have fun with.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the emotional part of it, I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you and I want to wake up with you and I want to share dinner with you, that just never came.
And that adds to the complexity because you're not talking about sexual desire anymore. And that's what's so black and white about labels.
Yeah.
Oh, you're attracted to men. Well, you were attracted to this woman and you realize you can't love her like that.
Right.
And it just goes back to talk about orifices, men that are in jail that they've been straight all their life, have had the slightest inkling of desire for another man, but now you're in a position where you can't get the outlet that you used to, and you have to, some of them settle for some of those orifices that are in their cellmates.
Or someone puts them in the position to use their orifice.
Uh-huh.
And they just go, oh, well, I guess I'll enjoy it while I'm here.
Oh, the joys of the human experience, afflicted with sexual desire.
That was a complicated sentence. But, yeah, I mean, human sexuality is very interesting. So I think I do come back around to what you said, which is it's complicated. There's probably no one size fits all answer to anything.
And I think we, as for us to grow, we have to keep an open mind with that.
Yeah.
Understand that it's not that easy to, and everybody's situation is different.
Most definitely. We're gonna take another break, and we'll be right back. We're going to have a great commercial coming up for you. Please let us know what you think about the commercials. We're just real big fans of the commercials.
Oh, yes. That could be on Super Bowl.
Hello.
Super Bowl commercials.
That's what's next. Super Bowl. Podcast Super Bowl commercial. All right. We'll be right back, guys. Are you about to be evicted? Have you run out of couches to crash on? When visiting friends, do they tell you have to leave the overnight bag behind? Oh, face it, sis. The jig is up. But you don't have to be a hobo no mo. Put that good D, strong back and stroke game to work for you. Soulful Escorts connects you to sexually frustrated single professionals who are standing by, eager to provide housing in return for exotic trips to Pound Town. Let us connect you to these lonely singles today by calling 1-900-BACKARCH. That's 1-900-BACARCH. Stop pretending you only need to stay just one night, sis. Okay, and we are back. So soulful. Let's end this segment of the podcast with something a little brighter.
Okay. I'm game.
You're always game. That's what I like about you. This is one guy who's like who will go on an adventure. Most definitely. He'll be like, I don't have any clue what you're talking about, but let's go.
Or I might have a clue. It's like, that's a terrible idea. What time you want me to be there?
Even better. Okay, so Soulful. Kind of keeping it in the vein of sex. What are 3 things that turn you on? That get
Oh,
you in the mood.
me personally?
Yeah,
Ooh.
that gets you from 0 to 100. What gets you from 0 to 100?
Uh, well,
And we'll alternate. We'll alternate back and forth up to our number one. So you can kind of
sure, sure.
think about your 3, 2, 1.
Oh, especially for, building the sexual tension, physical touch is something,
Love language.
very much the love language, physical touch. And it's not even my primary love language. My primary love language is acts of service.
Oh, okay.
Which that could that could come into play here too, because Lord knows we love some acts of service. But no, physical touch is a big thing for me. Somebody that may or not already be readily tactile. When they start getting a little touchy-feely with me, even if it's subtle, it could be just like, oh, touch my hands for a second or this and that. That'll get my attention. And if you start getting a little bit more bold with it, you'll really get my attention and my curiosity. And then that's when my mind starts racing like, okay, where are we going with this? Because I'm ready. I don't know where we're going, but I'm ready.
I think for me, it would be probably, okay, this is just real plain, but taking me out to eat. That's like a foreplay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So
And you buying.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say there.
Not me, not taking out to eat. We go Dutch or I pay. Definitely not if I pay.
If you pay, there's gonna be some acts of service involved.
Hello, life.
No. I get that. It's like if somebody's willing to take you out and pay, they wanted that time with you. They weren't giving you any excuses. So yeah, and that's a turn on. It's like I really want love language, quality time.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, number 2.
Number 2. I'm gonna go with a good cold Chardonnay, and the reason why is because I love Jesus, but I drink a little or a lot. I'm not really much of a beer person. I'll drink Angry Orchard and pretend it's a beer so people don't judge me. Definitely a cocktail person, and I do like the fruity drinks. So it is what it is.
Oh yeah, I love a good umbrella in my drink.
Yes.
Yes.
With lots of little fruit garnishes and everything. But wines are things that I kind of played with more over the years, especially in my little part-time at a steakhouse for a while. But I tend to like the white wines more than the red wines. I have played a little bit and found some favorite red wines. Chardonnay is probably one of the slightly more bitter white wines that I'll drink. Normally, I wouldn't have been a fan, but it has a very unique effect on me, unlike any other buzz from a drink. I feel my entire body just get really warm.
Oh, so if he break out the Chardonnay.
I feel the buzz. I feel the buzz, but I'm in control. Like I'm not like I'm buzzing. I'm not tipsy. I'm not, But I feel like it ignites me in a certain way. It ignites my arousal and my interest. So. Yeah, I mean, if anything goes after that.
Oh wow, okay. I think for me, I think like probably okay. I guess a massage, and I feel like that's kind of obvious. But a massage in either way, giving it or receiving it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, giving it to a certain degree, like if it's too long, then I'm like, oh my gosh, my hands are hurting. But giving or receiving the massage is definitely a mood setter for me. Yeah, to me for the obvious reasons, because to me it's like you're priming the engine, right?
Getting it ready for that second coat.
So yeah. No, I don't think any explanation is needed. Massage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to co-sign with you on massage. And also for the same reason, giving or receiving. I'd like to think I give pretty good foot massages, and in the process, when I do it, it's because of the reaction that I get when I'm massaging somebody's feet. Not like I have a foot fetish or anything, but I don't mind feet, especially if they're pretty. But yeah, rubbing on somebody's feet, watching them relax and just kind of unwind and decompress, and then if I get some noises out of them, that really does something to me. And vice versa. If you're giving me a massage and you happen to hit certain spots that make me make certain noises, that'll get us going. There was an episode of Friends. I wasn't a really big fan of the show, but I did watch a few episodes here and there. And apparently Phoebe was a massage therapist.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
she ended up giving her friend Monica a massage and stopped because Monica started moaning like she was having sex. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. And she was like, this doesn't feel right. This is my friend.
So I think probably... So I said, take me out to dinner, give me a massage. Maybe the other way is to, it might be, cook for me comes to mind, but I don't want to say that because it's like, I just said food earlier, and it's like, okay, is everything centered around food?
Everything that's worthwhile.
But one of my love languages is gifts. Is a love language of mine.
Oh, okay.
So I think it basically, if you buy me shit, I'm gonna give them
just anything, or does it have to have like a purpose or some thought involved?
I think it does need to be thoughtful on some level. Like even if it's like, I love Snickers, and you pick up some Snickers on your way home because you saw I was out, or I've been trying to, do right with the gym and stuff, and you're like, here, I saw these tennis shoes, and they'd be helpful.
Oh, okay.
At the gym. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Not like, hey, baby, you missed going to the gym. You should really go. No, bitch, I don't need your help that way.
Here's a protein shake.
Yeah, like that. Here's a protein shake. I know you're trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, that's.
Well, I guess.
To me.
It's a little unconventional, but since we're on that topic, let me drop 3 on you. Give me 3 gifts that people can give you at any time that you can never get enough of, just off the top of your head. I'll start just to get the ball rolling for you. Coffee beans. I love coffee. I can never get enough coffee beans. Coffee. So, yeah, preferably whole bean. But, yeah, if anybody's ever like, I want to get OT something. Oh, this place has, special coffee beans. He'd like that. So that's 1 for me.
I think for me, what could you? I don't know. It used to be like I used to love masks, and I think I probably still love masks, but it needs to be a real, authentic African or Asian, whatever culture mask, not some Pier 1 mask. Like I'm over.
Okay.
I'm over the Pier 1 mask.
Something
thing.
Cultural.
Something's culturally significant. Yeah, like I'm totally.
Just like decor or some kind of function.
Well, I wouldn't wear it, but on me unless.
I mean, I can get you a luchador mask, but if you wear it for other activities, that's your business.
Right, exactly.
Chocolate Thunder.
But yeah, so yeah, I would say some kind of mask. Those are always a good gift.
Yeah. For me, another one will be cologne. I could never get enough cologne.
Ditto. I'm going to second that emotion. Yes. Yeah, cologne. Love different fragrances. Love it. Do they sometimes stop like releasing certain fragrances and stuff? Do they do that?
I think they do, but I honestly couldn't tell you. I love colognes. I just don't buy them as much as I could. I know there's some serious aficionados out there and collectors. I know
some people who are real serious, spend a lot of money. I don't. My cologne lasts me a long time.
Mine too,
because I don't wear it a lot. But you know what cologne I have? I have this itty bitty bottle of Polo Red. And it smells so good. And I keep telling myself I'm going to get me some. I'm going to get me some more. But I keep not doing it. And one day, I'm going to go to that little bottle and go to spray. And I'm going to be like, ah! I'm going to be all out. All right. So what's your last one?
Well, I guess I'm a functional person. If it's something that I'm going to use frequently, that'll make me think of you. And that'll let me know that you put some thought into it. I had the third one in mind, but it just left me.
I think maybe a third gift, a specific gift. I mean, I keep going back because what did I say? I said what was the first thing I said?
Let's see. You agreed on
I
cologne.
agreed on cologne, and then I said mask.
Mask.
Okay, so I didn't say this. Okay, food. I'm just gonna say food again.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fact. I can't help it. You know, it brings me joy. And if you bring me like a cake, and you know it's a cake I like, oh Jesus, that's
Marble.
child. What in my mind I was thinking about German chocolate,
Oh, okay.
or a good coconut, or a good carrot cake, or a caramel cake. Oh my gosh. When I was in high school, my girlfriend I was talking about earlier, her mama made a caramel cake. And I'm not talking about these caramel cakes you see where the icing is like buttercream icing. This icing was melted. Like, it was like drizzle. The cake was like syrup. Like, you know, like the icing was like syrup in the cake.
That was
But
like
it was
buttercream and cornstarch.
but it was like
I mean, not
caramel.
cornstarch, corn syrup.
But it was like but it was caramel flavored. And it was delicious. I mean, that cake was so wet. And
Apparently, you were too.
I mean, I was. And I remember after me and the girlfriend had broke up, I said, "Is there any chance your mama give me the recipe to that caramel cake?" And she rolled her eyes at me so hard, like, "Bitch, are you kidding me?"
You got the recipe in the divorce, huh?
I did not. I didn't get no recipe. Oh my God.
No, I would agree too. You know, a meal is always a great gesture. I used to say, somebody, you know, anybody who wants to be on my good side, be like, would know my schedule and be like, "Hey, you off work already? I'm in the area. I'm gonna stop by. I'm gonna bring a 12-piece from Popeyes, and I'll be there in a few." It's like, you know, that's a friend for life,
right? You trying to get married?
Get some honey and some hot sauce too.
Have you had Popeyes macaroni and cheese?
Yes,
Is it not delicious?
it is excellent.
It's like the next best thing that if you can't get somebody to make you some, that's good.
Yeah, it feels, you know,
Yeah.
if you're craving a home cooked meal and you can't get it, it'll hit. It'll do it for you.
I feel like Popeyes stay playing Chick-fil-A. Like, Chick-fil-A will come out with something and Popeyes be like, "Oh, we can do better than that." Like, I think Chick-fil-A had
They came out with the mac and cheese.
first. And it's not
Take
bad.
me back.
But Popeyes was like, "Oh, we can do better than that." They had the spicy, they had the chicken sandwiches. Popeyes was like, "Oh, we can do better than that."
Baby.
And they do. They do better.
Popeyes shook America when they came out with that chicken sandwich. And the funny thing is, it'd been out for a while. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the people that early on went live and decided to bite the sandwich and ate it and made all the noises and everything, and then pulled out the second chicken sandwich under the table before I went off my live. But yeah, it was a pretty good sandwich.
You know what? I don't know why this made me think of this. This is kind of off topic, but maybe we should watch other people's podcasts and respond to their podcast. Maybe that could be an episode. I don't know. Maybe not. That's just an idea.
It wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, it's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
I have a group of friends in Dallas that have been doing a podcast for a while, and I've participated in it once or twice.
And so will they say we watch their podcast and like talk shit about it?
I don't know. They're kind of clever. It would be fun though. I could definitely run it by them.
Well, I don't need their permission.
Oh,
Okay, y'all, we gonna get off of here. I think
they know too much dirt on me. They'd put it all out there on their next episode.
We have held y'all
that's soulful.
Okay, well, we're gonna say goodnight. Thank you so much,
Thank you, y'all.
Soulful. It has been a pleasure as always.
Always a pleasure to be amongst your presence.
So what are we gonna
in your presence? Like this.
I'm a lot of people. I'm a lot of people. A lot of personalities. So before we sign off, what are we gonna go eat for dinner tonight? What are you in the mood for? Popeyes.
Popeye. Why was I thinking about those biscuits from Texas? The
Texas Roadhouse.
Those rolls were amazing.
What time does she close? You want to drive to Texas Roadhouse? Don't play.
I'll grab my keys.
All right, y'all. Take care. Thanks so much for listening to the
Thank
Soulful
you.
Cream
Appreciate
Podcast.
y'all.
Bye. ba ba ba.
Woo, woo, woo.
You have been listening to the Soulful Cream podcast. And honey, we are so thankful for you listening to our little old podcast.
Whether it was your first time or the 100th time, we are grateful for you.
Be sure to share this podcast with your friends.
Don't keep us all to yourself now.
We are the
The
Soulful Cream podcast.
Podcast.